Hello, hello, hello. I am Robyn,
Gil, and you are with us for Rockin the Love.
Rockin the
Yay!
Love. And if you've never been here before, if this is your first time, here's what you should know about us. We are a married couple. So, why, you ask, are they on two separate screens? This is because we live in two separate places. That's like sounds so like new age marriagey, right? But it isn't really that new age. We wish we were in the same place right now. It's about work and home and family. And so we've divided and conquered. And Gil lives in Albuquerque, New Mexico. And I live in Carlsbad, California right now. So we are in
Mm.
separate places. And this is Rockin the Love.
Which one's closer to the ocean?
Me, thank God. Thank God. Don't you love the ocean? I love the ocean. So, Rockin the Love, tell them what it's about, Gil.
Well, today is, by the way, the first Wednesday in December of 2023. And being that it's December and that time of year, we are talking about the gift. That's our title today, and we will be exploring about gifts and what gifts are and what is a gift and who's a gift and anything with the word gift in it. We'll talk about. So, chime in, send us a note, ask us a question.
Let us know
Uh,
where you're watching from or listening from and put it in the chat so we can chat with you because we love to chat.
Chat, 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 chat.
What I wanted you to say, though, was what Rockin' the Love, the show, is about, not the
Oh, the
talk.
show. Oh, the show itself. The show itself is about relationship because everything is a relationship, whether it's what you and I have here, whether it's with your boss or your coworker or your employee, or whether it's with your breakfast, it's all a relationship.
It's so true. So our producer wants to know what we're giving him this year. We-
We're gonna give him the the largest bonus we've ever given him.
yeah, you've been very, very nice producer. I can't say you're not naughty, but that's a whole nother show. So by the end of this, Michael, though, you will realize that we are the gift. Dun dun dun. Okay, no, maybe not. We'll see. We'll see what we uncover in this hour together. But first, how was your week, Mr. Olmsted?
Hey, week has been good, busy, a lot going on. Um, a lot of things unfolding, a lot of things revealing themselves, and exciting, and it's requiring me to focus a little bit, and that's not always easy for me. So I am working on being a little bit more focused, tying up loose ends, and staying in communication. That's kind of my thing this week. And working in my garage and outside. So there you go.
Nice. Isn't it funny though? Don't you feel like that kind of happens at the end of the year too? Like all of a sudden it's like,
Mm.
oh, got to tie up loose ends. Oh, December, as if because we start again in January and then we can be on a clean slate. Sometimes I feel like that. I mean, do you?
Yeah, yeah. No, I think that's true. And there's sort of that, I don't know if it's a natural push, but it's certainly a push culturally that we've created around that, to sort of whoo,
Yeah.
get it together so that we can start over again, and it's just a line in the sand.
It is. Oh, but it is the last month of the year. It happened so quick. Anyway,
Yeah. Can
my
you
week,
believe it was 6 months ago we were in Costa Rica?
that's crazy. Can you believe it was 1 month ago I lived in Oakland?
That's
It's
true.
ridiculous. Time is so elusive. And yeah, my week has been lively. Moving to a new place, I really think that it's really interesting. I mean, since I haven't moved for like 14 years, really, I mean, at least to a different location, it's so interesting to really like move to a new place and like have to get re situated and organized and acquainted with what's where. And I swear to you, I think it's harder now because every other corner has like a Ross and a Target and a Starbucks. So like you can't even like have landmarks. You've got to like find, oh, but this one has a Thai restaurant where the other one has, the burger place or whatever. It's so weird. It's like so I try out like during the week, like driving without what do you call it? The
GPS.
GPS. Yeah, driving without GPS. So I turn the GPS off and just see if I can get home or get where I'm going, like the close places. And I'm like, I keep passing like things going, oh, I thought that was over there. But like it's the same things. Like there's a habit here and a habit there. There's a Home Depot here, there's a Home Depot there. It's just, it's crazy. It's kind of like Groundhog's Day in a weird way.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
same things just keep showing up.
That's funny because here it's more like a Walgreens and a CVS on every corner. You have no idea where you are.
Yeah.
Oh, look, it's Walgreens again.
Well, and yeah. So anyway, it's been an interesting week. I mean, family and life and moves. It just is a gift. It is a gift. One that I would sometimes pass on, and other times I'm wanting to keep it. Anyway, so apparently our producer's drunk. Okay. He's pretty
What?
hot on that gift. So, folks, if you can send donations, we'll make sure and get him something good. Anyway, speaking of good, what's the good news of the week? We like
What?
to talk about good news because we know there's enough out there that isn't. So, we like to bring you what is. So, what do you
Yeah.
have this week, Mr. Olmsted?
Well, did you know that like 45% of the giant trash island in the middle of the ocean is nylon plastic?
No,
So,
but that
yeah.
makes
So,
sense.
yeah. Well, and the reason that's significant is because the main polymer in nylon and well in fishing line and certain kinds of stuff is a nylon fiber. And a couple of scientists have figured out a way to break it down, to recycle it into
Wow.
its original pieces in a non-toxic way. There have been various ways that people have tried to do this and have succeeded to some degree, but always with requiring huge amounts of energy or requiring, that you end up with this waste. And now what do you do with that? But they found some metal and something else they put together, and they're able to break it all down, over 99% of it,
Wow.
into nothingness, if you will, and recycle it.
That's amazing. I mean, it really sounds like, I mean, from all the stories, the good news stories that we do, and a lot on recycling and things like that, it really sounds like we should be all the world is making progress.
Yeah. Yeah, it's making progress, but like everything else, it's slow in a way. And it's also, it requires it requires change. It requires adopting new ways of doing things. Um, it requires big manufacturers and stuff to adopt a process where they will do something like this. And the cool thing about some of this, like this, is that it sounds like it's not really that hard. It's easy to get a hold of the materials, et cetera, to be able to do it. And so they've actually had quite a few inquiries from industry about somehow adopting the process. So
Well,
there we go. Yeah, we keep moving forward. It's good. If
it
we can
is
just
good.
keep our lawmakers from making the good things illegal, it's great.
Yeah, and just I mean, but as long as people keep holding that vision, and really keep acting on it, and being activists and creating these things. I mean, it's just, it's like the electric car, right? How long did it take for it to really get rolled out? Things are changing.
Over a century.
Yeah.
Yeah, over a century.
So,
And now we have lots of solar, and now governments are walking that back to some degree. But again, we just got to hold firm and allow some of those companies which make their money from the things that aren't good for us. We're going to have to somehow allow them to move on to something else
right,
and encourage it.
right.
Yeah.
So my story, I thought it was kind of apropos of our topic today, which is the gift. My story is about a 10-year-old girl in the UK who had an idea for a post box to heaven. And this came about so she could write to her grandparents after they had passed away. She lost her grandparents 5 years apart, and so she wanted to be able to write to her grandparents. And so her mother went to the one of the crematoriums there and gave them the idea. And they responded by erecting like an old post box painted white and gold, like just in time for Christmas. And this was so popular that it's now in 40, rolled out across 40 sites in England and Scotland and Wales. And Matilda is her name. She was the first person to put a letter in the box. And they had no idea that it was going to be so popular. And one year later, that there would be a memorial postbox at every one of these centers. And it was even more poignant to them because Matilda's grandmother worked for the post office. So the first letter to heaven was even more moving. And
So what do they do with these letters? Do you know?
I don't know what they do with the letters, but right after installing them, there was over 100 letters dropped in the box, and now there's been over 3,000 letters. And from families not only in the UK but from as far away as Australia. So it's just a way for people to express their feelings, and people have written and said how helpful it was to them, how supportive it was to them, and people like send birthday cards or whatever to their loved ones. And so it's a great way for people to get those feelings out. So
Wow.
So I just think it's such a sweet idea.
It seems like we should be able to do it here because I don't know what they've done with all those post boxes, but they are not available to put letters in. So they must be somewhere. And we could recycle them and put them to good use.
I just want to add that at this time, too, they've also reached out to King Charles to see if he might want to install one at Buckingham Palace so that loved ones can remember the Queen and Prince Philip and Princess Diana. So it's a thing. Goodness. It's a thing. Right? That so sweet, so beautiful. Welcome, Shay. Good to see you out there. Welcome to everybody else out there. Make sure and say hello in the chat. And we are talking today about the gift. The gift. And so we're gonna take a little break here. We're gonna allow our producer to go get another cocktail, and we'll be right back here on New Thought Media Network.
Please help us say thank you to our organizational sponsors, including the Hepperlin Foundation, Affiliated New Thought Network, International New Thought Alliance, Science of Mind Archives and Library Foundation, Center for Spiritual Living Denver, Center for Spiritual Living Midtown, New Thought Philadelphia, Planned Happiness Institute, Summit Center for Spiritual Living, One Heart Retreats, Center for Spiritual Living on the Lake, Unity Spiritual Center, Kitchener, Om Center for Spiritual Living, La Mesa, Satya Center, Center for Spiritual Living, North Jersey, Unity of Savannah, and Center for Spiritual Living, Seattle, as well as all of our individual donors. Thank you for making New Thought Media Network a place to be. Please come be you. And remember, like, share, and subscribe. New Thought Media Network, positively inspiring.
Welcome back to Rockin the Love. I'm Robyn.
And I'm Gil, and we are happy to be with you today. How's everybody doing? I hope well. We've just had a few minutes to talk about what's going on with us. We would love to share more with you and what's going on with you. So please feel free to say a word or two in the chat. Let us know what's going on. Ask a question, make a comment. We'll look forward to it.
So our topic is the gift. Why the gift? Well, because it's December and people start talking about gifts, right? Giving.
It's that time of year. Everybody's talking about a gift. Everybody's trying to sell you a gift to give.
It's true. Lots of marketing, lots of media, lots of peer pressure, if you will. Right? So we began to think about like what is this gift? What is the gift? And then I also think that gift, like I feel like it's almost on the borderline for me of being a buzzword in news. You are the gift. We are the gift. Be the gift. You know, I don't know. It's almost on that word, you know, that borderline of like, don't say that to me. You know what I mean? What do you think?
Well, I think in some ways, and kind of almost like, you know, don't tell me I need to give anybody a gift either. It's kind of the same idea, right? I mean, so I don't think it's. I think the reality is we don't acknowledge ourselves enough, and we don't realize what is being given most of the time, what people are expending their energy to allow something to show up in my life, in your life, and wherever, just by showing up.
Okay, I hear you. I hear you, but I'm still back on gift. So, okay, but is that a gift? I mean, like, I think about all the different ways we use the word gift. I mean, we all know what a gift is, and we all know a couple of meanings, I'm sure. But then I started thinking about like all the things we hear, like the sayings, like "Don't look a gift horse in the mouth," and um, uh, "Oh, he has the gift of gab," and um, he's God's gift to women, and um, you know, those kind of
Yeah,
things.
yeah,
Gift that keeps on giving, and that's usually that's usually a sarcastic one somehow. Oh, that's the gift that keeps on giving, right? So,
yeah.
like, I don't know. So, like, how do we live into and really acknowledge what the gift is?
Well, first of all, Shay is very smart. She's suggesting that I'm right. Um, that someone's presence is definitely a gift. So let's go to like what is a gift, and I looked up a definition, which is a thing given willingly to someone without payment, or present, or a present, or a natural ability or talent. Those were two definitions of gift. Something given without strings, without uh, any expectation.
Yes. And so,
So, is that true? Do we ever give without strings or expectation?
well, you sure all the time. I mean, but I think it's not. We're not always consciously giving. You know,
Right.
I mean, like we do this show extremely unconscious. Just no, and but I mean, and if somebody takes something away from it, they might consider that a gift.
Right. Right.
And do I go, oh, let me check that off my list. I gave a gift today, or am I even aware of it? I mean, are we aware? That's a better question or a different question. But are we aware? Are we always aware when we're giving a gift?
And I would go quickly to no, we're not. We're not. Um, Unless we really, I think, are in touch with who we are and we understand what it means to show up and be the gift.
So let me ask you then, and anyone else out there listening, um, and our producer, as ministers, are you aware on Sunday that you're giving a gift, or whenever you speak?
Um, Not always. No. No. In fact, I'm usually surprised when someone indicates that they received something, even though my whole process is thinking about what do I think people need to hear, want to hear, what's up, what's the message, what do people need to hear to support them going forward, right? What about you when you speak?
I want to acknowledge Shay. Thank you so much. That was so sweet. Our show is a gift, and all of you are a gift when you're listening and talking to us too. It really helps us. So thank you for being here, and thank you for saying that. Um, am I aware that it's a gift when I speak? Um, Probably not in that way. I mean, I think that I'm aware that it's supposed to be, which is why I don't like to speak. I don't like to speak. So let me switch it up. When I'm acting, am I aware that it's a gift? Yeah, on some level, I mean, that is my intention and my mission, to inspire people to be more of themselves through whatever I'm doing. So, it, on that level, like, that's, I mean, I don't want to say it's my goal, because it's not like I ever think about that. I just do what I do. But that's, I think that's within me. That's, and I would say that was my calling, and what I get is that y'all have a calling, that you go through all that schooling and stuff to come out the other side and give messages and do whatever you do in ministry. And so when you get the calling, doesn't it like tap you on the shoulder and go, "This is a gift, buddy. Share it."
Isn't that the reality with everything we do? If we're really paying attention?
Okay, but you're getting ahead of the question. I mean, sure. I mean, we could sum it up and say, yeah, it's all a gift, because life is a gift, and Spirit has given us the gift. That's the end game. And yes, but are we fully engaged in that in
Well,
every
I think, I think there's, yeah, that's the good question. Michael put up, our producer, that talking on Sundays is a privilege. However, it's giving the gift to those who listen or those who are there. But what is a privilege other than a gift? It's a gift that I've been given to have
Yeah.
the gift, right? It's a gift that you've been given to have the opportunity to show up on the show. It's a gift that Shay's been given to be able to hang out and participate in ways that enrich what's going on here. It's, we all, it's, there's something that's given to us our without anything from us, really.
So, but can we look at it all? I mean, so, basically, again, you're sort of saying the same thing, that it's all a gift. And can we, is it realistic to look at it all as a gift? I mean, like, I'm thinking about a few minutes before coming here, I was in a parent teacher meeting with psychiatrists and teachers and police officers and all kinds of people. And I was sitting there thinking, this was for one of our godsons. I was sitting there thinking, what is mine to do here? Because any decision I made certainly wasn't going to feel like a gift to him. Let me tell you, based on his behavioral challenges in this moment, and so how can we always see? Or I think about, a friend of ours whose nephew just committed suicide at 15, and she's having a very challenging time finding Spirit in everything, and would be really pressed to say there's a gift there. So how do you reason that through?
I don't know that you can reason it always. And sometimes it's about expanding our view and finding where the gift has been. Always in loss, there's loss, but there's a gift in what we had up to the point of the loss. We wouldn't have had the loss if we hadn't had what came before it. Therefore, where's the gift? Well, we could have eliminated the pain if we had avoided what came before it, but then we wouldn't have had that gift. So, it's finessing the process. or our thinking around it, I think.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to talk about the big picture another time because I am a minister, so I have to say it 3 times. Um, the same thing, but still, it's the big picture, right? Um, so you mentioned about that idea that we're imbued with these gifts from spirit, and it's like, why? Why do we have abilities and gifts and things that we that bless us in our lives?
Are you looking for an answer from me?
Kind of.
Well, I don't know. I'm still a little stuck on if it's all a gift, which I get. Then there's that, you know, I guess it's just commercialism or whatever, but like the mandated gifts, you know,
Mm.
oh, you got to bring a gift for this occasion. You've got to bring a hostess gift. You've got to bring a retirement gift. You've got to bring, you know, those gifts that are generally, expected. You've got to, so then like, does that take away from the gift,
Does that take away from?
or does that take away from the sentiment or the authenticity or the spontaneity? Or I mean, if it's your birthday and I know that you want, a new tool set, and I don't want to buy it, but I go out and I buy it anyway and I give it to you. Is What about the energy? Like, it's not a gift given from the heart. You know what I mean?
How do we maintain that giving from the heart, right? Isn't that kind of the question? How do we view these gifts, like holiday gifts and special gifts? How do we look at that, um, and not become jaded? Like, I gotta buy another thing. I don't really want to. Um, and yet, there is something in there's a gift in everything, and so sometimes it's in that physical giving of something, some tangible package that has the certain wrench that I wanted in it, um, and that's a great gift. And sometimes it's a very intangible gift. It's very much just someone's presence, or someone saying a word that clicks and helps me understand something. Pardon me, excuse me.
Yeah. And uh, Shay says, yes, it takes away if you're giving from obligation. Ask my family.
Yes, indeed.
Shay, who strongly agrees with you. Um, yeah. Well, and I wonder too, on the flip side of that, if you are the birthday person or the wedding person or the whatever hostess, do you go, oh, they didn't bring a gift if they don't bring a gift? Or do you go, oh, I really didn't, this air diffuser is not the gift I want, and it goes in the white elephant pile or whatever. So like on that level, like I, like, how do you find the balance in really giving a gift when you want to, other than when instead of when you're obligated to? Like, can we be and being that gracious of a receiver or a non-receiver?
So I think really the whole thing about all we can control is how we give and how we receive the gifts that come to us or that we're putting out. And it doesn't matter. We can't control how that's going to affect another person. We can give the most sincere, wonderful gift, and it can be misunderstood, rejected, whatever, by someone else because they're living in another space of what a gift is. It's not a gift, it's about an obligation. It's about a this and a that. And because I gave them this very heartfelt thing, but it's not a gold watch and they're retiring, it's no longer appropriate. So it's not a gift. It's that kind of. So I mean, I think in terms of giving, the thing we can do is come from our heart. And if we're showing up from our heart, we're always giving a gift. And if we're showing up from our heart, then we're able to take in what's coming from the other direction, which again is giving a gift back because we're receiving a gift. I mean, to receive someone's gift is a gift. Because if somebody feels like their gift is rejected, then suddenly now they have it's a negative experience, if you will, versus a joyous experience.
So I'm just thinking about what's coming up for me is like people's love language and things like that, and also how challenging it can be sometimes to receive a gift, whether it's a physical gift or whatever it is. But I'm thinking about like people's love language, because one of my love languages is giving gifts, right? Giving gifts, giving cards, giving, things. And because that's not your love language, you don't necessarily reciprocate that all the time by being like, oh, so grateful for the gift, which is okay. I'm not asking you to. I get it.
Right, but I
I'm
don't
just
always jump up and down with excitement because, yeah, I get you. I hear you. Yeah.
Yeah. And I mean, because we're married, I can hound you and be like, but did you like it? Did you like it? I can do more deep diving into that inquiry if I need to find out. But I mean, like for other, like how if it's not your love language, it can be hard. Well, even if it is your love language, it can be hard to receive.
Mm. Well, it can. Yeah, it could be hard to receive, but I think it also could be difficult to acknowledge the receiving in a way that supports the other person, that is a gift back to the other person. It's not so much that you're not receiving it, it's that, I don't gush enough about it, or I don't write you back another cutesy note necessarily, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Which would be a different experience. So speaking of gifts as a love language, I was just speaking with someone about gifts as their love language, and we came to was this idea that if one isn't giving oneself the gifts, if we aren't giving ourselves the gifts, then we feel deprived. And those gifts are not necessarily, making sure that we get a new watch or a new this or something. It's about, am I am I setting aside time to go out and get fresh air during the day? Am I walking? Am I creating? Am I buying myself and eating healthy food? Am I, if I'm not doing the gifts that take care of myself, then I feel deprived. And
So
then
if I'm
why?
not giving to myself.
Yeah. If you're not giving to yourself, then yeah, then of course you're going to feel more giftless, if you
Yeah.
will.
Yeah, I see that. I mean, I think that's one component. I also think, though, because I was thinking while you were talking about this, like, I love to give gifts, and I'm not always as comfortable receiving. I mean, I like to receive gifts, but you know, for example, coming up uh, this weekend, I there's a party being given for me, and I know because I know my spiritual tribe that there's going to be some kind of circle where they're going to acknowledge me, and everybody's going to talk about their experience with me, which is beautiful and wonderful and um, hard. Hard to sit. Even though I know it's a gift, I know I'll walk away with like so much love and all of that, but it's challenging. And is it challenging to receive it? Sure, a little bit, but it's also, I mean, I think part of that is also the reality and the next steps of the fact that I'm moving from these people. So it's letting go on some level. Even though we may all be friends for the rest of our lives, it's letting go of what was, my life for the last 14 years, the gift of these people in my life.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So what about receiving? Like, how does one receive gifts when it doesn't really matter why they're challenged. It doesn't matter if they're not giving to themselves or whatever. Just how do you open that space to be able to gratefully accept and feel and take in the impact and the intention of the gift giver?
I think you really have to, in some ways, acknowledge that that's a gift you can give yourself, is to be open, to acknowledge that whatever this stuff is that's coming up, I can acknowledge it and know that it's there. But if I hold on to it, then I'm just blocking. I'm denying myself of the gift of this stuff that's coming my way. And I'm gonna create something that's not what I want. We create the agony, we create the suffering. It goes that idea where we create our own suffering.
Mm-hmm.
And so the suffering is not really that it's such a big deal or it's so painful, but that we put up things in our lives which cause us to experience that feeling. And so the opportunity is to really fill up with the love of all those people, in that particular example, and to really hear how they see you and know that that's really true of you. Do you believe that stuff? That's pretty, what a gift if you could receive it in the way of going, yes, thank you. I thank you. That's me.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I mean, like she um, uh, said about giving yourself permission to receive. Um, for me, I mean, I think that's a good point. For me, I'm not sure that that's what it is. I'm not sure that that's what it is. I think, wow, I get to do my own therapy here. I think that I think that some of it has to do with um, just being being I mean, maybe it's the same thing, but being comfortable being in the receiver role, and it is not so much the permission as much as it is that I'm usually orchestrating the other side of things,
Mhm.
for other people. It's not like, oh no, what they're saying isn't true, or I can't take it. I mean, I can take it. Bring it. I like it. But it is like moving into that space on some level. And I think for me too, it's really about acknowledge. Like I have this thing about I don't want it to be a goodbye, you know. And yet every day is a goodbye because we don't know. So, oh my God,
Yeah.
I've depressed myself.
Wow. Well, if we can just get you to cry, then you will have succeeded.
He's making fun of me, you all. Oh, well, yeah, there is so much to it. I mean, and especially during this holiday season, just the whole, everything that's in our DNA and cells about what the holidays mean and what's supposed to happen and gift giving, and if we can this year, if we gonna do it differently, or if we're not giving gifts until
Feels like we can't afford to give the gifts we want to give, or there's a lot of reasons and a lot of angst that can be brought forward in this time of giving.
yeah.
And sometimes our gifts thrust us into places we don't expect to be, or we don't feel comfortable being, and we have to grow into them. And oddly enough, I think both of us struggle from not necessarily wanting to be at the front of the crowd all the time. And, you are, quote, an actor, and I am, quote, a minister. So it's kind of somewhat problematic.
I mean, it's challenging, and as Shay brings up radical acceptance, and I think that radical acceptance for me is truly, I get that. I mean, I get that I'm always in the equation, but it's more acceptance of the moment and allowing everybody to get what they need, from it. And just trusting that. I mean, and I feel like, like for this event, I feel very surrendered, and open to the love and the possibilities and all the things that are going to occur, Yeah.
Yeah, I was I was just kind of thinking the whole picture of, we talk about gratitude a lot, and I think the whole concept of gifts is tied into gratitude. It's about being grateful for what is in our lives. It's when we acknowledge that something, we acknowledge the gift of our life, the gift of our talent, the gift of what someone has given us, the gift of what someone sees in us. Really, then when we can go to gratitude with that, then that's when we are receiving that gift at some level. And we're able to receive it. And I think when we're in gratitude for it, we're also able to share it. We're also able to allow it to move forth, so that there's a constant giving and taking. If we're, I think it requires us to stop that flow at some level. If it feels like the flow is cut off, it's like, okay, well, what's going on? What is it? Why do I not want Why do I not think I should receive? Why do I not want to receive? Why do I not want to give? Why do I, we get to go to those places, which is part of why we remind ourselves by doing the gratitude journal, because we remind ourselves, oh, there's a lot of gifts in our lives, right?
Yeah. Yeah. And it's, I mean, I think it's part of, if anyone has a spiritual practice out there, it's part of your spiritual practice. If you meditate, or even, and however you do it, whether it's sitting, in the stillness, whether it's walking in nature, there's something that you are truly admiring and acknowledging the gifts that in your life, right? Going into that space with God and acknowledging the oneness or spirit or the universe or Atman presence.
Giving yourself the opportunity to go into that space is a gift that you give yourself. We think we don't have time. We don't have energy. We have to stay up and work on something. We don't give ourselves the gift of the things that rejuvenate us or replenish us, that allow us to thrive in the world. And I think that when we talk about the gift is everywhere.
Well,
everywhere.
Yes, it's everywhere. And the spiritual gift is everywhere. I mean, that's, the breath we breathe, that's our family, that's joy, that's wisdom, that's all the, peace. All those things that we talk about are the gift of every moment.
Love.
Yes.
And rock and roll.
Love and rocking it all the time.
Rocking it.
Yeah. So there's so much I was going to say. The one thing I was going to share was like it doesn't matter. I was talking about the 12 days of Christmas, because I was like when I was looking up the origin of gifts and just what that really meant, and how they really started at Christmas and went to the 6th of January for the Magic Kings.
Yeah.
I don't know. What do you call them in English?
The
three wise men.
The three wise men. Yeah.
Yeah. In Spanish, it's the Reyes Magos, Magic Kings. Anyway, well, I will end this show by saying to you, Mr. Olmsted, that there's a gift for you waiting at the P.O. box.
Really?
Yeah, it's a gift, and it arrived today, and you can share with your listeners next week just what that gift was. But it's a surprise gift.
A surprise gift. You bought me lingerie. Sort of. Oh,
sort
no.
of the equivalent. Thank you, Shay. Thanks for being here, everybody. Yeah, you are the gift, and you knew that before you got here, but you are the gift, and we're so appreciative of you. And I would just say, at this time of the year, if you've got it in you, take that love out there and just rock it a little bit more during this December month. And we will see you next week right here on New Thought Media Network. Rock the love, everybody.